Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap every week of what's going on in the space universe, and today we're going to be talking about the third week of March 2019. Our first item is the launch of a Delta IV rocket. The launch took place from Florida's Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. It was an Air Force satellite, a military ComSat, the 10th of the WGS line of satellites, which stands for Wideband Global Satcom. One interesting aspect of this launch is we're almost done with the Delta IV rocket. As I understand it, there's only one more launch scheduled for Delta IV before it's phased out. The Delta IV Heavy, a more powerful version, which is effectively multiple Delta IVs put together, will continue to fly, but the base Delta IV is coming to an end. 3 new crew members arrived at the space station. They rode to the station on the Soyuz vehicle, and these new crew members are Nick Hague, Alexei Ovchinin, and Christina Koch. They bring the crew complement of ISS up to 6 people, and they're expected to perform approximately 250 scientific experiments during their tour on the space station. SpaceX was kind enough to provide some nice video of testing of the heat shield tiles that are going to be used on the Starship. The testing was quite tough testing, 2,500 degrees, and it was interesting, the hexagonal tiles that are used as the heat shield, that particular shape was chosen so that there wouldn't be long straight lines for the hot gas to accelerate down as the thing was flying. So the shape sort of breaks up the flow of the gas. SpaceX is getting pretty close now to doing some testing on the Starship Hopper test vehicle. What we're looking at is a static fire test of the Raptor engine that's been installed in the Hopper test vehicle, and a hop or a hover is being characterized as a very low altitude, more of a hover kind of a thing than a true hop. So this is scheduled to happen very, very soon, and indeed by the time you see this video, it may have already happened. Apollo astronaut Harrison Schmitt was in the news, and his comments were about the human lunar return. And his basic premise is that the people of the United States are interested in going back to the moon. The White House wants to go back to the moon in an urgent way, and he thinks that's appropriate, that we should do this rapidly. But he feels that NASA is not really undertaking this with the appropriate amount of urgency. And one observation that was made, not only by him but by other people, is right now the current plan of NASA calls for people to land on the moon again in 2029 if the schedule does not slip, which is 10 years from now. So going back to the moon will take us longer than it took us the first time, which is a counterintuitive kind of a situation. So hopefully this message will get out, and we will try to move forward with all due haste in returning to the moon. More evidence that the SpaceX testing of the Starship Hopper is fairly imminent is there's starting to be notices from the authorities in the Texas region around the launch facility about road closures and flight restrictions in the area. So we're getting mounting evidence of fairly imminent testing is about to happen for the Starship Hopper. Blue Origin was in the news about something very interesting. Their New Glenn rocket that they're developing is a very large, robust vehicle, roughly comparable to the Falcon Heavy in terms of the payload that it can take up into orbit. What the study was about was, what do they do with the second stage? So to date, the second stages have basically been expended. So, for example, the Falcon 9, which is right now, I guess, the leading launch vehicle, they're recovering the first stage, but the second stage is disposed of. So the study was about, what can we do with the second stage? Keep it up in space and do stuff with it. And one of the possibilities to make habitats or mini space stations basically out of the second stage. This will be very interesting because the timing is fairly soon. The first flight of the New Glenn is projected for 2021, so this is not too far away. And the second stage, which you're looking at a rendering here, is bigger than Skylab. So this could provide, theoretically, a lot of habitable volume very quickly. And presumably the New Glenn will have a decent flight cadence, so there'll be some significant number of launches of the rocket, which means there'd be a lot of second stages available over time for use in this way. So while Blue Origin has not made any promises or commitments to do this, it's a very interesting notion that would help us leverage our space future a little bit more quickly. That's it for our show this week. Have a great day. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in a week or so with the final week of March. Take care.